Hello dear students, my name is Ravi Bhushan Singh and I am the head of the Department of Mass Communication and Journalism, Salesian College, Siliguri campus. Today I am here to give a short talk on the topic development communication, specifically the paradigms of development. Now since this is my very first lecture on this topic, so I'll try to keep it very simple so that it is very easily understandable. Now basically there are three different paradigms in development communication. The first one is the dominant paradigm, the second is the dependency theory, and third is alternative paradigm. Basically we can say that these three are three different schools of thinking. Three different schools of thinking, I mean by that three different ways how people saw development and its process. Now the first is dominant paradigm. Dominant paradigm, three important people related to this paradigm are Daniel Leonards, Everett Rogers and Wilbur Schramm. These are three important names related to dominant paradigm, because these three people, these three were social scientists, they worked a lot on this topic and they came up with, and the idea of development, their idea of development together, basically we can say it's known as dominant paradigm. We'll study about them, each of them separately in next lecture. Today we are just going to talk on the basics of development communication and these three paradigms. So the very first paradigm is dominant paradigm, and what does dominant paradigm say? We need to know the very basics, what these three different paradigms say. The first paradigm, dominant paradigm, it's we can say it initiated in the year 1940s and it continued till 1950s, 60s approximately. Now according to this paradigm, before going to this paradigm, let me tell you one more thing, that this school of thinking emerged in the United States of America, because after the World War, you must be thinking the time period that I said, 1940s, 50s and 60s. This was the time frame of dominant paradigm. So 1940s, you just think about this time period, you will understand that this is the time period which is just after the World War II. So basically the world just overcame with the two different world wars, and after the World War there were many colonies. Before the World War there were many colonies all over the world by different superpowers. Even in our country we were ruled by the Britishers and we were one of the colonies of the Britishers. Similarly there were different colonies all over the world before the World Wars. After the World War there was a drastic shift in the powers. Now many countries became superpowers, many new countries became superpowers after the World Wars. Mainly we can say the United States became a superpower. Now there were also many countries which were very poor, or we can say not so rich after the World Wars. Now the development became an important issue. People started talking about development, discussing about development after these world wars, because the world leaders understood that it's time to develop our nation instead of going for wars. So basically, since United States of America was a superpower, it emerged as a superpower after the World War. So people looked up to it and for showing the direction to development. The other countries which were not so rich or which were considered to be poor, they looked up to United States of America and tried to follow its path for the process of development. Now, as you see that 1940s, 50s and 60s are the time of dominant paradigm, and during this time only these three people which I said, Leonards, Rogers and Schramm, they came up with their ideas of development, and there are three ideas. These three ideas together, we can say, are a part of or is known as dominant paradigm. Now, the two important points that dominant paradigm states, the two, we can say, two most important points is, number one, the modernization. That's why it is also known as modernization theory. That it states that we, being a country, if we are a poor country or a developing country, the first thing that we need to do is to modernize ourselves. I'll discuss about modernizing thing in details later on. First, we'll study about the points. The first point is modernizing. Second is promotion of mass media. Now let's discuss on these two things. These were the two most important things that dominant paradigm states. First is modernizing. Now, how will a country modernize? It can modernize using by upgrading its infrastructure, by building its economy strong, and by using new technologies. These are the basic things how we modernize, or at least according to dominant paradigm, modernizing means this: globalization, improving of economy, use of new technologies. And the second point was use of mass media or promotion of mass media. It states, the dominant paradigm states that for development, mass media should be promoted. People should not only they should follow, but they should also educate themselves with the help of mass media. Now, how would a underdeveloped country or a developing country modernize itself? Very simple. According to the dominant paradigm, it's very simple. It has to build up industry. It has to go through urbanization, and it has to build up its infrastructure. Therefore, there will be mass production. A mass production is needed for development. For this, factories and industries needs to be set up, which would shift from the economy of this country, which is a developing or an underdeveloped country. It would shift its economy from a rural economy to an urban economy. Therefore, we can say that the dominant paradigm promotes urbanization. And the second important point of dominant paradigm is promotion of mass media. Now, how to promote mass media? It says that a person from a developed or underdeveloped country should start following mass media, and they should know what is happening in their country and also outside their country. Plus, they should not only use mass media for information or entertainment purpose, but also for the purpose of education. So, if we see from far, from a distance, this paradigm, this theory seems very bright, but if we come close to it and see in details, look at it in details, then we understand that it has some flaws as well. For example, let us consider India as an underdeveloped country during 1940s. We are talking about 1940s, 50s and 60s. At that stage, try to imagine India and a rich country, that is USA. Now, how would India develop itself according to dominant paradigm? It has to urbanize itself, modernize itself. That is point one. Second point was use of mass media. Now, how will India develop itself? How will it modernize itself, or how will it urbanize itself? It has to improve its infrastructure. Now, the infrastructure is obviously not available in the country. That is why the country is underdeveloped. So, how will it develop? How will it improve its infrastructure? It will obviously ask from the developed country. Ask in the sense, I mean, it has to buy things from the developed country, from different machineries to different technologies to different weapons for, I mean, defense purpose. It has to buy from the developed country like USA. Now, as we know that after the World War, there were only a bunch of countries which were rich, and there were many countries which were poor or underdeveloped. So, just imagine, hardly there were 10 to 15 countries which could call themselves developed. Now, other than that, there were several more than 100 countries which were underdeveloped or on the process of developing. So just imagine the flow of money, because the developed countries will not give the technologies just like that without taking money. So just imagine the flow of money. So many 100 plus countries giving money to the bunch of 10-15 countries for buying the infrastructure, buying the technologies, etc. So this helps, or in other ways we can say, this only helps in creating a gap, a wider gap. It increases the gap between rich and poor. We can't say that the following development communication, by following development by following the dominant paradigm, the underdeveloped countries were not developing. Obviously they were developing, but the thing to notice is that the developed countries, the distance between developed countries and underdeveloped countries were widening. The gap was widening, because the rich countries were getting more rich by selling lots of products to the underdeveloped countries, whereas there were lots of underdeveloped countries, and they were all buying from these few rich countries only, and especially USA. And the second flaw in the dominant paradigm was the use of mass media, the promotion of mass media, which is not bad. If a mass media is promoted in a country, it is obviously not bad. But what it did is it suppressed the local media. Now just imagine a country where, like India, let's take India only, in today's scenario, if there are only a bunch of 3-4 mass media, national level channels, let's take for example NDTV or Zee News or Aaj Tak. If there are only these 3-4 channels which gives you information, now staying in Siliguri or Darjeeling, small areas which are cut off from the mainstream areas of the country. Now how many news do you see on Zee News or NDTV or Aaj Tak or ABP? How many news do you see of that is of Siliguri or Darjeeling or any other place of like similar importance? Very few, hardly. Now what happened if we promote these national level media? We'll only come to know the news and informations of big cities or important parts of the country, but even if there is a major news in these smaller places, then we'll not come to know about it. Whereas even if there is a very small news, very minute, or we can say news of very less importance in places like Delhi, Mumbai, then it will be in news on this large scale media. Now what will happen is the news or the importance between these two different types of places, that is major cities and smaller cities or towns, we can say, or villages or rural areas, there will be a huge gap in the flow of information or news, because people will only consider to have, or it will not be up to people, it will be up to these only 3-4 or 5 maximum mass medias only, and it will be up to them what information they will give you and what they will not. So the news or informations coming out from the small towns or villages, rural areas will get suppressed. So this is the second flaw that is there in the dominant paradigm. Now in my next audio session, we'll discuss about the other two paradigms, that is the dependency theory and the alternative paradigm. Thank you.
This and other episodes of Radio EduPods, Radio for Learning, are available on Listen to My Radio app at 6 p.m. from Monday to Friday and at 6 a.m. from Tuesday to Saturday. All episodes are available on Salesian TV YouTube channel. Share, like and subscribe Salesian TV, the ultimate learning resource channel.